to honor her memory.
Even in the process. Was there any information that you heard in the presentation that you were unfamiliar with? In terms of people, statistics, the term justifiable homicide being used. Yeah.
Justice.
That's the official term that is used for these cases. Exactly. Yeah. Sure.
Well, I don't know if this is from my own lack of just like not doing research on my own, but I never knew that like Hispanic, Latino people were getting also like attacked and like targeted, and they were targeted by just authority and like I guess the media like doesn't. I don't know if they still. I don't know if they do it, but I don't see it. I don't see like these stories being told by them, and there's only like a focal point to like other races. But I never knew that like the lady that was where was she from? The Muslim lady.
Oh, Rizzo?
Yeah, I never knew about her case, and then I never knew about Mr. Hernandez, and so it's just kind of shocking to know that like it kind of internal reflection, like I should be doing so much research on this and I'm not, and it's kind of scary because like I don't like a part of me doesn't want to read it because I don't want to accept it. So, and it's kind of sad that the media doesn't really show it too. So.
Right. I think there's a lot there, and for example, there's a case of Manuel Diaz, who something very similar to what happened to Walter Scott happened with him, where he was chased down and fired in the back of the head, and then handcuffed and kept face down post-mortem. And unfortunately, in that case, there's only the video of what happened afterwards. We don't see the entire incident happen. But yeah, this is something that affects, definitely affects Latinos, not only in policing, but in border violence and in hate crimes from vigilante factions as well. Okay, so another question. Oh yeah.
One thing that I want to bring out just from my experience, because I have worked with several paranoid schizophrenics, and the diagnosis covers a broad scope, but many of these individuals, and many homeless individuals, may not fit that diagnosis, but the medication is a worse condition in their mind than being unmedicated, and if they're unmedicated, they're not going to fit in to society. They're going to be homeless. They may well self-medicate with street drugs, and one of the paranoid schizophrenics I worked with, you could not or should not, obviously could, come up behind him and clamp on him, and surprisingly he would go off like a scalded cat in a rocket. And he did that in the courtroom while he was shackled, much to his detriment.
Right.
And so if you can picture this guy, maybe he's just whistling along in his own world and got clamped on from behind. And the next series of reactions he had were really beyond his control.
Right.
But these individuals are also some of the most empathetic individuals because they get it in terms of suffering. And they don't want to see anybody else suffer if they can help them.
Justifiable murders, how they didn't split up the unarmed and armed. I thought that was like really crazy because like you could, I mean, I'm not an officer, I don't have that job, but I don't think it's that hard to split up cases where an individual is armed and an individual is not armed. It's just like crazy, especially in this day and age.
Right. I think it's amazing that there are right now, you know, that there's legislation to push forward, national legislation to make it a requirement to record incidences, but that we do have data. It's just not being published. And in fact, something that I forgot to say is that the information from the FBI report is voluntary. It's not even mandated. So it's incomplete beyond all means, beyond all means.
I also think it's nice that you know that it's not only police brutality, but these are can be hate crimes.
Right.
There's like a certain mindset behind all this violence, and it's not just brutality. It's not, like it is brutal, but it's also hatred. And I think that's nice that you point that out.
Was the single bias, was that based on like they were only being criminalized against based on this one like individual factors of like race?
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah, so no, this is great. This is one of the things that I wanted to talk about are, you know, what are the limitations of a single bias map?
I just think it's bullshit just because like everything is so interconnected, there's no way to not draw everything together. So the way in my head it works, so there is no single bias hate crime. It's multifaceted. It's like black man, obviously. I'm not gonna fuck with him. A woman of color, transgender, that's crime already. So like, I just don't believe in that.
Right. Right. So it's definitely something that's lacking, needs to be reevaluated. So here's a question, what are the limitations of imagining yourself as someone of a different race, class, or gender?
You can only step into that moment, you can't step into the entirety. And the example I'll give is when I saw the images of the Birmingham back in the 60s. Those individuals were keeping it together. They had dogs sick on them, fire hoses turned on. I don't know if I ever could get to that level of chill. And I don't know what it would be like to have people profiling me day in and day out. I mean, I've confronted and then lived through it. Probably because I was an old fat white guy. You know, but so I can only step into that moment.
Kelly Thomas is the same race as me, likely around, I mean, he was homeless. I mean, I'm certainly not homeless. I get a really good university education, but I know what it's like to sort of not know where my next meal is going to come from. And our age differs a little bit, but the struggle I had was interpreting his mental stability and his mental illnesses.
Right.
And I mean, like Devontae sort of said, I have people in my family that suffer from paranoid schizophrenia, and I have a little bit of experience with those sort of what some people might call like ravings. But that's just really difficult to try to put yourself in that position of someone who has such a different understanding of reality.
Just like going to like just thinking about like wow, somebody's going to work to put food on the table for their kids and their family, and they can't even come back and just say like I love you. It just sucks.
Yeah, I was thinking about like it was Mr. Hernandez, his story as well. I am a Latina woman, I'm an immigrant, but I did not deal with what he dealt with. I didn't have to cross the border. My dad has a job, and it wasn't that. And it's just, even though like, it hurts me to hear the stories of like my people, I can say that, of Hispanic people, it's hard to like put yourself in those shoes and be like, you can't do it, even of your race or your color or of your struggles, you can't do it because you weren't there. You didn't have to do what they did. So it's hard, it's frustrating, but.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I definitely agree with Ella. we all go through bullshit. No matter what race, class you are, you could be rich and you won't know what having a family is like because you grew up with nannies. You could be poor and not know what it's like to eat because you don't have money to eat. So it's just like everybody goes through something, and to be honest, like, yeah, we could all say like we're sorry for you, you know, like we feel for you, but nobody's gonna know what it's like to go to be in your shoes, and everybody has their own path, and everybody everybody has bullshit they deal with, and it's just like you could be there for someone, but you can't know what it's like to be them.
Matthew Shepard was a 21-year-old university student who was gay and suffered from depression. I am a 21-year-old white college student, recently coming to terms with my bisexuality, and I also suffer from anxiety and depression. So, I mean, fortunately, I have fortune in regards to having supportive people around me and like being able to get treatment, but reading about some of Matthew Shepard's experience is just a little harrowing.
Okay, so have you or a close friend or family member been fearful for your life due to a possible attack because of your race, class, gender, or mental state? Have you or anyone you know been a victim of a hate crime or police brutality?
You know, I don't even know if this is police brutality rather than, or just like ill-equipped and like unprofessional officers. My brother told me this story. He was like 13 or 14 years old, walking home from school, and I guess this cop stopped him to ask him what he was doing. No reason, no probable cause, whatever. Like he was just walking. My brother was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get home. Like the bus. We lived out in the boonies. The bus didn't go there." And I guess my brother like